Since October 13th, a regular meeting of the Berlin Historical Commission. And I'm going to follow members' names. Barry Hager,
Present.
Elaine Wickstrom, myself, Gino. I don't anticipate any other speakers. Somebody else?
I don't anticipate anything.
Okay, that's right. That's when I put it later. So I call this meeting to order at 10:14. 10:14 a.m. in room 226. Start with fire alarms. Any additions to the minutes? Changes? Have a motion. Barry.
Right.
I wanted to change the order of things and have them listen to it coming back if possible. Unless we have some other items. So that we can include the area should become available and order. First item is the roadhouse. I did get a message from Margaret 2 weeks ago, or that's early last week. It said Cronenberger wanted to like visit. Cronenberger, not Brian, who we saw, but his son, who apparently is going to manage this project for us. And she said, would someone be available? And I said, yes. Make sure that someone is available and that we would need keys. But then once I replied, I didn't hear anything else. So I'm assuming that there was no visit. I heard nothing. Okay. Yeah. So, question I wanted to ask, because I haven't read all of them. Do you agree that he has to the end of the year to finish? That your understanding? Okay, so we're not sure.
One of us.
Yep. Okay, so we're unsure of the end date that's been proposed for the city. Want to say anything about working toward getting the courthouse ready for that?
Keep plugging away. I do want to move stuff out of the front of those rooms. We get the space.
Is there any place? How do we empty that one? What do we do about it?
Well, I don't know if we're going to empty the room, but we need to get half of it.
Where's it gonna go?
Put it out in the kitchen. We did before. We moved all of them. And but There's our cover sheet. We're trying to get so we can look on the wall. After some people can see.
Margaret spoke to me last week, beginning of last week, that the highway would be available to help us. Was it last week or the week before? To help us move doors and other items that we need to go into the fire station. So that we don't have to come up with a volunteer team. Is that right?
She's fast and furious in highway, and highway has a lot of other work to do. They strung out.
Right.
They're short staffed and strung out. I don't know what they. If we needed their heavy equipment.
I spoke to her about the fuel and stuff like that, because they said whenever they close the that, that's not gonna be a problem.
So how do we take, all right, I'll get back to her about that.
I'll handle that.
We will?
Yes, I'm about to about it, so I will see you.
We got paint for the side.
Right,
Yes, that, and that's the stuff.
The other thing needs to be
gone
gone
through.
through, because if it's not any good to us, we might as well move it out. I don't have any idea. I mean, there are 3 different locations.
Well, don't assume that it's all bad
Oh, no, we're not.
without opening it.
No, we're not. And,
There's a project to do that.
right,
Hmm?
There's a
that's a
project,
project in itself. Where are the other 2 locations?
we have things back on those shelves.
Yeah.
I think of those shelves.
The shelves in the
In
kitchen.
the kitchen.
Shelves in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yes, we have it here. And we had some from the
in
farm,
the closet.
That's all.
but that's, we've taken that away.
That's moved to the-
So
Well,
that's
there
all,
you go.
One place or the other.
that's all I know about this. In the entrance room, there's
Yeah.
some that we wanted to start with the box. Like, we had used, I think it was for her use, and then there's one. On the shelf.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any more.
Yeah, so we want to remove any of the flammable, and we don't want any bags or anything like that. Nothing's going back into the closet.
So I need to ask volunteers for items that we want them to do in the fire station. And architectural pieces.
We're gonna, we need to do that. Yeah, we put stuff in the attic, too. Probably shouldn't put up there.
What
I don't know what else.
needs to be out of the attic?
Well, they're gonna have to do work eventually. Not right now, but
Well, we've identified the doors and with whatever architectural features are obvious that in the rooms upstairs. And there's also some window casings, I guess that's what you call it,
right.
in the front room. But I don't know if we might keep those in there. Okay,
Okay, good.
We saved them against other things, but what happened? The windows have all the things. Even if we decide to fold the sashes,
Yeah, if they're not early. Yeah.
No.
Okay, so that can go.
There's only one or two open,
Okay, well, we know what to do with that.
almost all that stuff.
If our volunteers are pretty much commit to available on Saturday morning, if we ask them to keep it. Are there any Saturday nights that won't work for you?
Those come and go.
Okay, so we'll just start with when they're available and then we'll work it out.
Attending burials two or three times on Saturdays. Sometimes.
Okay, and
But let me know too, okay, where can you finally close? Oh, all right. And a couple of things here, I know that we can get into the major problem with it. Driving it, we're waiting for parts.
Oh, God.
mercy. That is awful.
And the timing belts and all that stuff.
Oh, no.
And the engine light went on yesterday, the power went on, the first time. It's really bad, because not all the systems are firing. Anyway, so, we have no idea.
We took our car.
Yeah.
We later, we took our car to the air conditioning. And then I don't know if that. Okay.
Joe wants the meeting ID, you put the meeting ID in, and then the webinar is expired. Process it out. Once the meeting ID is in.
If we end here, maybe.
I will continue with me. They're getting it.
We're on there and things before.
So, anything else about the board house? We follow up on the full project. Elaine will follow up with the city of Cambridge. And I'm gonna ask volunteer Saturday morning.
It seems like things that are so big. You need paint cleaners sometimes.
But the cans,
You gotta throw them away.
some of the cans are rotting on the bottom.
Well, some, may. Some may not.
I think they were two.
And if you're doing, like doing windows and that stuff, you need to use outside climate, which you need paint cleaners to do. Once you get the base coat, then I don't know.
The container looks secure and. The historical collection, I did advertise on Neighbors Connect and on the Facebook page that the historical commission will be available in the afternoon, starting today, actually, Barry was available. And that's 2 to 4, so that people can ask questions. They're just coming. That's how I can probably show you who that's coming. So I can just say, it's pretty simple.
The big rule for it is
Elaine found that it was December 31st. The full project. Anything else about the historical collection? Barry was worked hard last week. On some newspapers.
Extremely
They're in boxes.
sorted out in their own way. In the territory, and they span most of 1890. Almost all of these are Berlin Enterprise. They came out of Hudson Navy Novel, and it was a weekly paper. And they published the same paper as the Hudson Enterprise. The Stowe Enterprise, the Bolton, you know, they just put a different thing in the top of it. And, but it has local columns that all the facts are in. Heavily Hudson. There are a couple of the papers from around the time, I think 1894, the big Hudson. Wood Square and that whole area, and all that.
How could we live and survive that?
Well, it went down Main Street about as far as the town hall would say. And it happened, you know, 4th of July, everybody was down at the top.
Okay, so the next, just to back up. Marty, we use our electric lawnmower. The battery quit after a while, but we did do part of it because it's really costly. And, I already told you that we worked on the lilac bush. So it's coming along, but it needs a lot of help.
I know, it's much.
And we had to.
I don't know why he stopped mowing that, but he used to mow that.
So I waited until we had an opportunity to do it.
Wait,
I did,
Not that he couldn't do it again if he wants to, but for now.
they do that.
Well, it would be good to have someone human that knows what they're doing.
that's some stuff.
Right?
No,
Pruning.
yeah, because I don't really know. We're just trying.
Yeah, I just thought I had, and I thought it was really good. Heavy stuff. But I don't know how to say it. Yeah,
Supposed to just do it. And do it. Society.
Taking care of the rocks and that.
Okay, the next thing is CPA project. And I sent you to. Should be two pages.
It's there.
You know, the thing that I might want to change is the minimum number of artifacts that feel that that is too small, for the amount of money we're spending, I could change that.
That's a minimum.
That's a minimum.
Doesn't mean that,
That's what we're getting.
yeah, you're saying that I get at least what. And I think that's.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Anything else?
We may do more, you know, we're gonna end up doing more if we don't need to.
Yeah, well, I just did the numbers at 15 minutes ago. And that's for someone setting it up. Because otherwise,
But things like the location of things in the building, I would not put it on.
no,
Yeah.
That is something somebody should go in and be gone in 3
That's
minutes.
one of my concerns too.
You don't want to put too much information.
well, that wouldn't be, it wouldn't be on the spreadsheet. That is just a benefit to us.
Well, yes. Well, the other thing that I will say that when you have spaces limited about it, from time to time it has to give you,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
you have to move stuff around. As much as you'd love to have, this is the place for these. And
You have to make sure.
you have to change it in order to get more stuff. Yeah. So I would not want that as part of what.
Okay, well, I'll have to. How can I make that clear?
Well, to
Or
my
just
way,
leave it up, just leave it out.
it is important to have it in there.
We'll leave it, we'll leave it out. Write that down.
You want to mark the sign up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very sensitive to that, of archaeology. In archaeological projects. Yeah. we just- good treasure.
Absolutely. And in fact, we don't even know what's the inventory of archaeological state. If they receive the stuff and they don't tell us. It happens, we do know a lot about it because we know the people that did it next. We have copies of a lot of it. But the thing is, that they don't notify us if they get more sites. They want us.
Did you look at Elaine, did you do anything about reservation of well, maybe next time.
We have that, we wanted to see about it. Yeah, we've got to have somebody come up with it.
Well, I sent you a link right after the last meeting. And, list of our meetings, because they have a little,
A list of people.
yeah, they have a referral.
So the front page is not too different from the original. But then they ask a lot of questions. So
I don't recall what we voted.
how did it just came up right after our meeting? And that's why we
voted it not being.
Well, we didn't actually,
know we ordered her to go ahead and do it. We didn't actually vote on either of these, and it has to be official.
we agreed that I would follow up.
Right, but then this came up. Yeah, go for it.
This is the same thing that you said.
Front page? Oh, no, I said the rest of it, they asked.
Oh.
In the final application, they asked questions, and I had to answer the question. Final, front.
Well, but the other thing went on with all of stuff out of that stuff.
Right.
And I still think that's tremendous. It's very non-specific. It talks about doing all kinds of things that you won't even know what you do where until you get in there to do it.
Well, that's the nature of restoration on foundation. And that's why it's such a big price tag. I have no problem.
I'm opposed to going through and redoing stuff that we've already done.
We haven't done any foundation work.
We have done
We
a
haven't.
fair amount of it all across the back.
Barry, did you read the report? It's right on the front
But
page.
he never looked at some of that. He never
Yes, he
got into
did.
those,
No, that was left, it's another project to do because of time and everything else. The only other part he has to do is fairly simple, and that's a small segment that can be done before the rest of the work is done. But, we're having the sewer work done, because
we did.
we need to, yeah, and because we also need to fix the foundation, and foundation, the house can't be lifted without, or even raised a little bit without this fill. Okay, in those areas, yeah, and
This is not a simple thing.
that,
Hot, and the spaces are not such that we can get into them. And many of them we don't need to get into because we can tell enough from the outside that we don't need to get into. The water problem that we do have needs to be solved specifically before you do all this, because that will tell you what you need to, then you'll know what your condition situation is.
Barry,
The water comes in one area, almost all of it, and that's where all the moisture is. And I can't get you people to look at that and deal with it. And I don't know how to solve it because we need to fix that. If we fix that, if we want to have that dealt with, then we can evaluate what we need to do otherwise.
you can't do that without doing this.
I disagree strenuously because I know that it wasn't like that before we put the water line in. When we put the water line in,
No.
they put in fill, it was light fill, and that's the reason why the water comes,
No,
soaks down and comes in the south.
it's not just there, Barry. And
Yes, it is just there. That's the place where almost all the water comes from. The water does not come from across the back. It doesn't come in under those. That's not where the water comes from. It all comes in that one place. And it comes in because of that situation. We either need to change the grade outside or get the handicap parking in or something that's going to change
that's
all
the
that
last thing
drainage.
you do is to handicap parking there. When the building is ready for people, receive people, then we handle the handicap. You can't invite people in the condition the house is in, period. And if we are not gonna follow the study, if you don't believe the study,
I don't believe
you
the
have
study.
you have a major problem.
That's right. We need to get a better study.
You have a major problem.
We need a better study on the foundation before we go pushing to do all this work.
And that's a discovery, and that's all part of why this costs so much.
More of this discovery can be done before so that we know what we're contracting for.
Barry? I think you're being obstructive, I really do. I don't think you want to see it done.
I want done what we need to do and not more than that.
We're not gonna do piecemeal. We're not gonna do piecemeal. It's a waste of the town's money. They might as well tear it down.
Most of that, all this work that we've done in the past, you continually ignore and don't respect.
No,
Even though it was done with the building inspector and certified and so forth afterwards. And I'm sorry I don't think we need to rethink all of that stuff.
We're not
As part
rethinking
of,
it.
yes, you are.
No, we're not.
You do.
You
You're
have
talking about
ignored-
digging around the foundation all the way
ignored-
around the house.
Barry, you have ignored so much that's wrong with the house, and you will not face the reality of it. You have ignored an awful lot of what is wrong with the house. And it's no way to do a restoration if you don't address the problems with the foundation and ease of access to the basement. All of these things have to be done. All of these things have to be done.
Isn't it quite possible that the person chosen to work on the foundation will be able to preserve what Litchfield did? And is that a concern for you?
My concern is, I don't, it's all, but all that stuff has been done.
Barry,
Structural stuff has been done
Yeah.
across the whole back of the house.
Barry, that's not a I don't have a problem with that.
Then
But-
let's get it out of the thing that we're talking about
No.
having done.
No, because all of that contour around the foundation holds water, and it needs to drain away.
It does drain away on this whole end.
Barry, you have to stop it from running through the house.
It does drain away that whole end. I told you, all the water comes in the one area. And if we could just fix that area, then we'd be in a better position.
No, we're
Then
not,
we've been in a better position to evaluate what we actually need to
we're
do.
not doing things.
That area is what's causing the problem now, and has been. And we've had 2 or 3 different proposals that were there to deal with it, and when the work got done, it didn't get done. So then we're left still with that problem. If we fix that problem, then we can evaluate what we need to do with the foundation. Until we fix that
We've
problem,
already had,
we're pushing to do more than we necessarily have.
we have already addressed the issue with the survey. And
The survey did not respect the information we had available on these.
Barry, you don't respect the opinion of the person who did the survey?
Who didn't do the whole survey, never looked under the floors that they were supposed to look under. We cleared the floors so we could just take a few screws out and look, and he never did.
That's not true. That's not true.
Well, he
He put in his report that there are areas that he could not get to finish, and see what's underneath, what has been laid down. And, we said we could work that as an interim project before they start the other work. Because that's not very much money. It's not very much money as far as what it costs to do. But it's a matter of how to get at it, to see it full.
The only area we can't get at is under the gallery.
And the room, the entrance,
What?
and the entrance room.
You know, you take up the floor there.
Exactly, but under the scope of what we gave him to do, he did everything he could under the scope of what we gave him to do.
We specifically set up the kitchen so we could get at that.
No, we did not.
Yes, we
There
did.
was so much crap in that kitchen, Barry.
The 2 of us went in there and moved it so that he could, and then he never looked.
All you did was.
And everything else that was in there.
No, you didn't.
Well, I mean, everything on both sides, so you could get into the foundation. Yeah, and that was the area you need. All you gotta do is take up a few screws and look there. Didn't get done.
But this needs to be done.
In the discovery and in the
He mentioned that.
process, wouldn't whatever construction be considered sound and safe anyway?
Right?
I mean, this is not,
We're not gonna,
this is not precluding that
we're gonna find things are in good state in some areas.
you can't preserve good work. You know, I don't see that.
We're not destroying anything. We're making it right.
I want the drainage issue solved in that one area so we can tell, so that we can evaluate where we are with the rest of it. Until we
No.
solve that problem, that's the one place that we didn't have the water in the cellar before that.
Barry, you're in denial. You're in
I
denial.
was there, I saw it.
Barry, I know water goes through the cellar. I really don't want
I
to
saw
argue.
the change, I saw why it happened.
No, it's more than one reason. It's not just it's not just one thing. And you don't think you want to come to terms with that. I would like to move that we approve this application as written and submitted. The final application. They've already approved the work. We've already approved the pre-application. Next,
We have not approved the pre-application.
I'm saying the committee, not this one. But as presented, they've approved all of these submissions, every single one of them. Every one of the submissions. They all think it's a great project. I'd like to move that we submit it as
I second the motion. Is there any way that Gary is proposing the limit of the drainage? Could that be incorporated?
that's also going to be addressed. The whole thing is going to be addressed, but you need to do the whole limit in order to.
It doesn't mean
You have to-
It doesn't mean you're gonna change the whole perimeter.
No.
That you're gonna look at that.
Right, and they're gonna seal it up from the outside. And, repair, stones falling out, repair, restore to a proper condition. If, like, they fear it was never well constructed in the first place, and it suffered over time. And, you can't have any of the moisture in the house. It's just what normal people do, that even if change in the ground around you, and you end up having water in your cellar, you have to dig up the perimeter and put in the proper drainage. Divert the water.
No,
Yes.
no,
June. Motion passes. We didn't actually vote on the line. Okay.
move to support the digitized election.
Wait a second. All in favor? Have a roll call. Gary,
Aye.
Louise, June. That's what one amendment.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we agree with that.
Well, I just.
It's 10:52.
We could start with 58 South Street, just in case Mary can come in. We think
No. Oh, yeah.
Mary will change, show us ownership. We can do it all.
In 1935, was Milton Wilson bought the property. His child that was born in 1936 was not listed in Berlin. His child born in 1939 was. And there was a 37 child too, and he was then 39 was born. And so, and I did find a notation, the suckers listed as being built in 37, which is sometimes not accurate, but important. The house was very cheaply constructed. Orange Springs. And my brother, one time when they were doing some work in the house, he actually saw it in the outside wall, and it was the orange spring. That was the outside wall boarding. It was so cheap. It was a good house for their big face, and that's what was created. But it is not of architectural significance. Other things, but it needs to be preserved. I mean, there's nothing in there to collect. I was in the house a lot. I don't know what else to say.
There's no hen house there anymore.
The hen house is long gone. There is a small building that they used as a garage in late years. Originally, the Bruder House was chicken. But that was a later building.
That's the one she used for her office.
If she had one on the site, yeah. But then when I looked at this, I realized that there wasn't lived there for 30 years. But I don't see any, there's no use. Yeah. I move that we declare that the buildings at 58 South Street are not of historical importance. And I may want to change those words in the words out of line. It's not historically significant.
So, okay, I second. All those in favor? Mary,
Aye.
Will you follow up with a letter?
I will follow up with an appropriate letter, and I also will be in the system on the computer. I see the building permit stuff, and then I'll put a place in comment. There's a place to comment approval. And I always write something as to why I like that. There's nothing there that's old enough to be applicable to the bylaw. Nothing there that's significant on the nature of what's being developed. Important to the whole thing. So in this case, I would just say, if we voted not to the commission voted not to on this date. Well, it won't take 5 minutes, so we'll get to
Okay,
We're
that'd be great.
on the meeting. That's
yeah,
fine.
after the meeting, I can call one up to you.
Well, I didn't think about this before, but I do have a thumb drive with pictures that show most of the work with that. Is that allowable? If we plug in the thumb drive,
Maybe we can plug it into this one and turn it around.
I don't know how to, I don't know how to screen share.
No.
I do know how to screen
Okay.
share, but I still haven't gotten this one into the meeting.
Can we screen share from yours? Or we won't be able to view them.
How about if we plug it into this one, turn it around and view it and then
Yeah.
let it be viewed that way? Do it as a slideshow. You can do it as a slideshow. and
I
get
can
it.
do it. I can do it. Screen share on here, I think.
Yeah.
That way, you know, so
No, it's the way mine.
Well, yeah. Well, they don't have to do it too much. They don't have to record it. They-
Share. This small. And open up. What do you, when you're using this, what do you use
It'll
for
show it.
program? Do you use Word or do you use a photo thing or something?
You need your,
Just a minute, let me get that. I'll try to get that.
your,
I've got this small. I need to get back to my desktop, right?
that drive is gonna show up.
the drive will show up in your, yeah.
So what will show up?
The drive will show up in the column on the left when you.
Oh, okay.
And then you just click
Then
on
you just-
that.
Oh, then you just click on that.
and then it's done.
Why doesn't this go small? I did that small.
Open file. So it's a file folder box.
Which,
The file, is there a file at the bottom? You can click on it to open file.
I don't see it.
How about way over to the left?
You down at
Way over to the left.
the bottom, the left.
That should show
Show
you.
you the bottom on the task bar. On the task bar, down.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
That's bring it up.
I got you.
Double click.
Okay, there you go.
Now, there should be, it should say Macrovolve or something like that. Get rid of it. It's right, can you go down? Keep going down.
Who contacted?
I don't know, we haven't downloaded it yet.
No, you don't.
There's photos.
The red, highlighted in red.
Oh,
This is different from the one.
no, that's not it.
That's a calendar.
That's not it. That's the yeah, that's some trouble. Foreign technology, but this one is supposed to be. I was gonna do,
You were opening up a photo set. So we can see what we can do.
You know, maybe, how about clicking on here?
no,
That doesn't want to.
no.
There you go, there you go. Now, Miller
No,
16.
Whole bunch of pictures. So, well,
The main greenhouse that's still standing. And that was taken from the first set of pictures that mine did, which is probably open up. There should be an arrow. So that you can go forward.
usually it'll come up here.
Is there a little arrow that might show up here?
Well, that's what I'm looking.
Oh,
Usually when you move something this over, those things will pop up.
yeah. Well, we can look at it.
Well, you want to set it.
It's gonna be laborious.
Double click this and put it on a slideshow. It'll bring it up.
Double
Double
click
click the photo.
and see what we
It'll bring it up to a slide. It'll select. You want it to play in the slideshow.
What I saw was a list of individual files.
Right, that's that.
I think that you can make it into a solution.
Yes, right, yeah, that.
I think so.
Well, double click outside here,
Maybe it's here, here.
just outside of it. Or,
Have it back, back.
okay, you double click on the picture. Okay, now, exit out, I guess, or minimize it.
If you double click it.
No, this is the next picture.
We can look at it. Or we can put it online. See, that's the long view
Yeah,
of the remaining views.
yeah. Well, you both have been up there, right?
I specifically wanted to show you the remainder of the little greenhouse.
Yeah. We don't know what photo it is. So.
There isn't, there is no wooden but I,
Well, it's there,
Well, the wooden greenhouse?
it's there.
Yeah. That, no, that picture we had up before a minute ago is the wooden greenhouse. Huh?
Well, the wooden greenhouse is right there.
The wooden greenhouse isn't a greenhouse. I mean, what you're calling a wooden greenhouse. You're talking about the residential area.
Well, there is, what I included was the remains of a little 12 by 20 wooden greenhouse that is butted right up against the residence office.
Yeah. Okay.
And I wanted to show you that.
Well, wasn't that other picture we had up a minute ago, that very picture?
No. Go down to the middle. There's the chimney.
There's the chimney.
Why don't you bring it up? Bring it, yeah, where's your flux? So I wanted to show you that there's, this is the side of that wooden greenhouse that's away from the road. And there's a half concrete wall here.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really, this is the same material as this other appendage here, which just butts up against the chimney. Then there's also this same concrete work down here. So I don't know really what's going on there, but it was a way to marry the chimney to the little wooden greenhouse.
Well, the greenhouses, those earlier greenhouses, that we had one on our farm, and the foundations are still there. And they built them with concrete knee walls,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
set the wooden glass structure on top of that. And so this is that's the remains of that.
that's the problem they're having right now. Is taking any of the structures down, they don't want to pull the chimney.
They don't want to.
The way things are tied together, they don't want to pull the chimney. They don't want to.
I know they'd like to keep it.
They have to do that very delicately. Well,
Go down a few more and hopefully we'll see inside.
this
there.
arrow right there.
Oh, look. Okay, just click on the arrow.
Oh, there's an arrow.
Yeah,
Finally.
that's what we were looking for.
Oh, okay. Now, hey, there
right.
we've been looking for all along.
This is the remains of the wooden greenhouse in here.
Yeah.
And this is the office room.
Yeah.
Which is the first part of the residence that you see when you go into the driveway.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's more of the trash is moved.
Oh,
We can go forward. We've got enough space. That's an early from over the summer. That's what the interior of the remaining greenhouse.
Mhm.
It's just total trash. Those are the cradles that held the
Tanks, oil
the
tanks.
oil tanks. Um, Where did we get the? That, this is the remaining greenhouse. This is another greenhouse
Yeah.
that,
This was a classic one. This wasn't.
Yeah.
Classic.
yeah, that's right. And that was behind that shed.
Mhm.
There was a little shed
Yeah.
there that was pretty much concrete and wood. The upper structure was wood. And this is what we see now. Here's the wooden greenhouse here.
Mhm.
At least that's what I'm calling it.
Yeah.
And she's got a little pallet across. But, you know, so then people- it just shows a little more of the. That's the last. Now, if you go around back,
Mhm.
this is one view of the collapsed greenhouses. And you can see the L where
Yeah.
Tillman built residences for his workers, rooms for his workers.
Yeah. That's the fact that they have as a priority to get rid of it.
Yeah. I think you have the double click. Oops. Click outside. Click on the light.
We could spend a lot of time doing this, but the fact is, we all know what we've got there. And so I
So
think,
we have a good record.
yes, we have a good record. And I think that, I mean, one of the things we've done in the past is even if something has potential significance, if the condition is sufficiently deteriorated, that is quite impractical to try to preserve it. We've let it go. And I think that I mean, first of all, this residence, all that, none of that's, most of it's not that old. But the oldest of the greenhouses is kind of, but the trouble is the condition. There's no way,
The wood is
there's
raw.
no practicable way to preserve it.
Okay, so why don't you make a motion?
I move that we declare the buildings on that site. And I would make this a general motion and we drive all of it. As any significance that they might have had has been minimized by the condition, the current condition. And therefore we declare this to be not significant.
65 longer.
60, yes, all the buildings are 65. That will cover up, even if they have a separate later demolition permit, it'll cover, we're gonna make this vote cover the whole thing so that when anything else comes up, we can keep it.
All the buildings which include.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Which
All right.
includes the
You might want to look at everything there.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Mary. Hi, it was you. No, we're still here and we just viewed a few of Marty's photographs and Barry has submitted a motion to, you know, go forward.
declare them, meet the buildings not significant.
Because whatever significance they had. So, and this motion will include the greenhouses,
All the buildings.
all buildings, all buildings. No, okay, the last salary is the project today. Yeah. Okay. Yes, he called me this morning and I haven't gotten to that, letting people know here because we were sort of just proposing the motion. But Paul McHelp did call me this morning and said that he was preparing a document for the board help to sign off on any problems. So he just wanted us to know. Okay. And Barry will follow up with a letter. So that you have that. Yes, Barry will go into that system and record his comments. Okay. Yes. Yep, you're welcome. Yeah, I know. I took a spill yesterday. Not yesterday, the day before. Yeah, just a minor spill on an ivy laden bed. Okay, thank you. No, I'm intact. Much to say, whatever was of me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. Yes, bye-bye. Yeah, well, thank you, because I wasn't gonna answer. Listen back right now. Let me do that.
Well, the thing is, I have never gotten the stuff up on the screen that we usually get to handle things on the side.
Well, it just wasn't showing. So we're in the middle of our motion. Yep. There
Yeah.
it is. I moved.
Second.
Elaine. And all those in favor. Barry.
Aye.
Elaine.
Aye.
June.
And this is that it is not significant, and that part of that is the. And the good thing is we have the photographic record, which will. Yeah.
We'll do some more. Now that they're beginning to recycle the glass, because they will actually Mary and Evie would like to create a small. And they would like to use that.
Use the old,
Well,
Hopefully they would.
their plan is quite nice.
Yeah,
oh, sure.
well, you know, we're just fortunate. Those are two very thoughtful people who know what happens to you.
Nobody's very thorough.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that. Just to find out. And I just wanted to bring up, I would like to ask Janet whether she would consider the commission. Janet.
Janet?
Because I've worked with her a lot.
Sure.
So I know that she really has a good background. You know, because of her work at Sturbridge and just because of her education. And her, now, I don't know if she will accept,
She might go on.
but
Find out.
I'll just tell her that, you know, we won't tread heavily on her. We will, we would like her to really to consider it.
It's a monthly meeting and occasionally other things. Normally it's a monthly meeting and I don't see any reason. And she would bring some useful skills. I mean, my big thing is I want them to bring some skills.
Well, because she has a museum background. She's conversant in that period of time that Sturbridge.
Which is the bullhead.
The other thing I had on here was the presentation. And we'll have to get rid of that because I was going to start getting up to look for the things that we can do in the commission.
A town.
Yeah. Oh, and we'll just have to wait. And if you have thoughts in the meantime.
Well, we have pieces. We have pieces of such a thing.
Yeah.
We've never compiled it, so it could be a piece. And it's
Be nice to get Powder House fixed up too. If we could, you know, then we could have a town hall, Powder House, and field house, and get that cleaned up and cleared. For the Powder House. At some point, and that would make a nice site there.
well, I guess one of the pieces in the thing with the power house is to talk about it. When the town last dealt with it, it's hard to but it was a private house. And at this point, the question is, that material, that equipment is no longer being used. I don't think the question is whether somebody else potentially.
Right, I think so. It's part of our town deal. Shouldn't let it get analyzed.
Basically, the property is the recycling. But I don't, certainly for us to show interest in it, it's a good thing. And
Well,
potentially even consider taking it.
well, I think it would be good, especially with any old presentations we do, you know, how the town
sure.
was and, you know, and to have it accessible. You know, would the kids even know about it, you say?
Your travels through the village. That program you do with
Yeah, we did.
Well, that's because,
No, but, well, it's a variety. Oh, yeah, one year when we didn't do some other things, we went up there. Usually I don't because it takes too much time to get into the, you get an hour.
did you meet Barry Barton?
No, is there a new one out?
No, it was the last one. It's a really great article. I don't have it with me here, but.
Or maybe some around down there.
Because it really is. I didn't.
Yeah, I usually like to go because it's a little simple. I have a hold of it and I don't.
Well, and Bob Blair has been working on getting the right steps to it.
Yeah.
He asked me to do that. Each time you write it, you have a little bit of idea. Yeah, I tried to get in the things about the history and transition and also some sense of it. Not being.
There's another overlooked historical aspect. I say overlooked, but maybe that's not quite the right word. And that is a pop house that is on Sawyer Hill Road, on Bud House.
36.
Why is it not 36?
30.
36.
Not one. 30.
You know, it's privately owned.
The owners are aware of it,
Yes.
but at the same time, it's pretty much ignored them.
It's got trash in it. Well, if you know where Bud House is,
Across from Kevin's greenhouse.
not
I'm
as
across from Kevin's house.
Oh, it's fine.
not as far as Ruby. But it is.
There's the timber guy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the friend.
yeah. There's a big barn.
So where is the house?
Right out of the road.
Right there on
That's
the
that
road.
building? I didn't know that's what that was.
The little one
Because
right out of the
I've
road.
always been concerned about it. Yeah.
I think it's on Macris under that house. And, but I mean, I know we inventory for that. at some point. I also, I mean, it's the upper floor, which we're drawing on. And underneath, they had it set so that they wanted to go
Yeah.
So is that evidence of that also there?
No, and that floor, it's got spaces between the boards. So that's down below. And there's an article about population indoor, was written by Henry, not the one we knew earlier in the war, who lived in the house and his father was the one who lived in the house. You heard of that book?
Yeah.
All this is how they raised him, and he mentioned that he refers to it as that. Yeah, it's right out.
Yeah, I know
Against
what
the
you're
street.
talking about. Yeah,
And it's one of those things that they'd love to have it as a preserved thing, but trying to change the title of it would mess up people's frontage. People who own it need to continue to own it. You'd like to have somebody.
Well,
Well, you can do a,
Well, it's fine, it's
Yeah.
fine, healthy.
Yeah.
We not let it go any further. It actually looked a little worse than when I first entered it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I did contact Bud and ask permission from my photograph. This was several years ago. I sent him all the photographs. He was fine with all of that. I didn't go any further.
Yeah.
Any news on the church house? What's going on with that?
No news on that. We have the stuff that we took. Trying to get back. We've got Indian. So that we aren't making that go worse.
And whatever happens to cemetery stone, what's the status of that?
That's still sitting, the stone that needs to be put up, I've talked to, we're actually talking to money. And so, and it needs a foundation, he does foundations all the time.
So what will happen to the stone? Will put them under?
No, those will be, the ones for the foot stones, we're going to try to put with the foot stones. And
Where are they right now?
they're there. And then we will, if it's appropriately determined,
Ornamentation. I wondered if we could do that.
Oh, yeah, that's an appropriate thing to do, but it's got to be the reaction to something. Yeah, we've got, I have all the instruction on get that stone there.
Speaking of stones, all of those stones or rocks that we have stored in storage houses, what do we want to do with those?
I didn't put them in the plastic. Me and Chief said, "Some problems with the rock. We still have more rock."
Oh, you're talking about,
Collection.
you're talking about the mineral.
Yeah,
You're talking about the mineral collection?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No, we moved that stuff in the past.
some people. Well, they may be.
I thought they were.
It
I
may
thought they
still
were-
be, I think
thought
there's
there
still
was some
some
on
at
the
the
shelf.
bottom.
That could go, if we get the volunteers.
Yeah.
That
Yes,
could go.
yes, yes. Those will go to fire station. We've got some of it over there.
Okay. Now, is it a worthwhile collection to keep or?
We don't have any problems.
Right. What I thought we could do is we could, go ahead.
I would disagree. I
Well,
do understand that as a study collection, it's limited. But at least some of it, I would think we should retain because it relates to a person in Berlin who was national.
Okay.
And involved at a high level in that theater.
Yeah.
Underneath.
So could we store it as a rock pile somewhere near the curatorial building, like in that garden or something, so that we can have a place and a sign?
there's a lot of magic items.
Well, I
would
mean, but the
not-
bigger
I would not put it outdoors.
None of it? None of it?
I don't, maybe we could. Most of them,
So it seems a shame to take up storage space with it.
Yeah.
But the bulk of it can be left outside.
most of them,
That's small.
yeah, most of them are small. I mean, there's a few things that are this big. But that's the biggest thing.
Well, I've never.
Yeah, it's not that big.
It's a thought.
Yeah, it's a thought, and it's worth having in mind, because, you know, when,
Because I do know a geologist who did that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of valuable pieces in it, and he would find that. And he let kids pick through it every now and then, talk about it and identify it. I just thought right there to the right of the territorial room. It
has value, but it's not.
but it's not. It's a covenant with it.
the other thing is the right view is got things growing on it. Very well.
Well, not if you kept it in a designated area, and you've got maintained along with the garden.
Well, there may be some bigger. All that I see. There's a lot of fossils there. Fossils in
Yeah.
the shell. No, I don't think we should throw it out. I just think that it's.
No, I wouldn't say throw it
Oh,
out.
no, that, we decided, well, the stuff that was down the stairs here already went to the fire station. And
Maybe the ones that are left.
Okay. So,
Can we, get shooting board and the fields?
yeah,
I know, but
I keep forgetting about it.
what file is it? Outdoor?
the sheathing board that belongs to the first
The first one.
and the two boards
Oh,
that are now private law.
Yeah.
Very bad.
Yeah.
Before,
before winter.
Yeah, well, sooner is better than later.
I mean, can we put a deadline on this or put some urgency on it? Because
Yeah.
it distresses me.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So for my sake,
I had some, that time that urgent, and then.
So do we have a motion to move those to better storage
well,
by
Those are the discussions.
right.
Oh,
But
that's right.
I think I mean, as a commissioner,
That's a shame, really.
I think we
You
have
express concern.
Yeah.
expressing concern and frustration also. And because I'm able to help. I mean, I can't move much, but I can be there and I've already asked, someone who offered a container.
Yeah.
That might not always be.
Yes, we need to do it sooner. And it's one of those things that gets out of my head.
You send you a daily email.
You want Tim to
You
call?
can if you don't want me to read my email anymore.
You want me to call Tim, ask him to call you? I want to make it easier for you.
Well, I don't know. When he said he was going to write it.
Are you going away soon? Or anyway?
I haven't had the opportunity to go away for years.
Oh, anything on the 4th?
I didn't follow up. Yes, I'm not sure what protocol is for encouraging the donors to move forward with.
Oh, that one. Yeah, all we can do is communicate and ask.
And I can do that if you think it's appropriate. I don't want to be, I know from. I think I might still have it.
time you could contact her.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can. Any other?
Ideas, but
Well, probably could be all kinds of things wrong. That's the other things to do.
okay, so you have a work day.
Well, we couldn't this morning. Right. Afternoon, we have. I can do Monday morning, Tuesday and Thursday, usually. But they don't really care, and sometimes they can't catch up with me, so they're not ready for me. I invited you last week, but then I couldn't do it. Anybody's present. She said if she can, she would like to help with making sure that any other society things are protected and put in a place that society things need to be together. I don't know what to do about the tent. I guess the tent.
Why do you need to do something?
It's in a closet.
You gotta get that stuff out of there.
Well, I don't want to. I don't want to let go of any society things that are important. They don't have them in the home.
Right.
So I guess what I'm lobbying for is finding a home for them and do it as best possible.
What about we put them in the stairs?
They're in a closet, they're in a closet. And they're not in the way of anything.
I didn't.
What?
I didn't look in the
The
closet.
tent?
The tent. If the tent is fine to stay in the closet, then
Had it go in the storage unit temporarily until two, you know.
What storage unit?
no, I don't think we will have.
Oh,
I'm not in favor of putting that in,
no.
but the first house can go.
The first house stuff.
That's what needs to be. I just think that better order needs to be made out of what is in the building.
We're not a storage
Well,
facility,
we've been putting things in there. That's what we've been doing.
but we're not a storage facility. The bullet house is not a storage facility.
The society, I think, the society doesn't have enough. So,
The society is invested in that project. $100,000 there.
but the society,
What's wrong with there having a few things in the bullet?
because all in all, we've all used it, the poor border house as a.
Well, it's what we had. So that's
Yes,
where things
but we
went.
didn't take care of it. I'm not pointing fingers, I'm including myself. You know, we haven't adequately organized and taken care of it.
So that's what we're working on.
We're all okay with having the tent in the closet for now, that kind of just. That was one of the things I mentioned. Because I want her to know that her understanding of what the society has there is value. Once in a while, help us with that part of it. And we did work together one day, and that's the result of our work, of her work, actually. I didn't really help her that much. I was just really there.
You were going through sales.
I went right back.
Okay.
When we were together, I organized it on the table in the box.
So it's pretty much, that something.
It is, right, what she worked on is on the table. And then, I guess there are boxes too. The boxes with the lid. No,
Bins.
there have been, and then there are some boxes that we have. They're taken off, they're cardboard boxes with a lid. But they're all on the floor. And those things can't fit in the closet.
No.
That was the Memorial Hall still open.
Well, my code in there. The last time I tried to, I can't remember why. I think Edie needed more water.
When I need to leave that open, we just do it.
Well, I'll ask Margaret for the, if the code must have been changed, then maybe she will give it, maybe she will allow us to have the code.
And we should pull it up from the Hall, unless they have a specific reason why we say that. If we're gonna store a few things in there, I'll look things down.
Are we sure we're on it? Enough to walk it up?
No.
And if we're storing it, I want it to be something. Stuff that impinge on the mitigation.
So there are a lot of little tables and stuff like that that we can move up.
I'd be pretty careful about what we put on the wire. Because we don't have any place to do much of anything.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I understand.
So there's something valuable that we can say.
There's a hitchcock chain. And a little table. Perhaps do its own thing. But supposedly, which came out of summation.
Those in the front.
No, over at the church. Consensus.
Where are they?
At the church.
Yeah.
They came in through the church. They came through the church. To have them all protected and all that, they want them to start.
So are you saying,
Those and more stuff like that hanging
are you
around.
saying those to put in Memorial Hall and trying to make the
No,
connection?
no, I'm putting them in the territory.
Okay. So we haven't identified anything. that we put in Memorial Hall. That's better. Here.
So what other people?
Until Memorial Hall, until we can figure out what's going on. And I don't know.
I wouldn't hold your breath.
We've had a position where Memorial Hall was touched valley. And at this point in time, I don't know whether
Okay, I'll look into that.
well, we could talk this. And if we do remove the system, we can.
Okay. So let me know what we're gonna do. We're pretty much available these days.
I can do, answer your question.
One or the other.
One or the other. Well, I might be able to. Do
When you're ready, and if you want to alternate, please, like I say,
When we do.
I've profiled, I'm holding, I'm warning.
Okay. Well, why don't we shoot for Monday?
I think that should be a meeting target.
What happens to me is that too many things. And then I'm late.
Yep.
So we have a motion to adjourn. We
Yep.
already done that.
Second.
All those in favor?
11:56.